Okay, today I'm going to try to do a pong game, at least just get the ball rolling, bouncing ball. I already started a little bit of it, where it's pretty straightforward. All I'm doing is incrementing x and y coordinates of the ball till it hits uh, in the width or the height maximum. Uh, the width maximum for x value if it's greater than, and what I do is change the direction. Direction is a multiplier, and if you multiply and then you add it to the current position of the x and y coordinates. So if it's incrementing and then hits the wall and it's over the limit, then it changes the direction and then it keeps decrementing. So it works. Run it and show. It's a pretty straightforward, simple setup, and I did add it to the menu. So all it's doing is just going to the limits, and it should turn back. That's the x coordinate. So that works. And then it is listen to key press. So if I hit X, it should exit. And it's not clear in the screen, but that's fine. We can figure that out later. So that's why it's listening to key presses, and it doesn't render it on the screen. Also, I added the cursor visibility, so it doesn't show a cursor while it's rendering the ball bouncing. So uh, now I'm gonna again. This is not professional level stuff. It's just how you start working on stuff, and we can refactor everything. I would like to have the x and y coordinates in a object or a structure if you're familiar with structures and objects and classes. But I'm not going to do that right now. But what I want to do is have another x and y coordinate that is the last position so that we can clean up after ourselves, removing the last old position. So I'm going to create last x. Oh god, yeah, the AI is helping me, but that's fine. And I will that's what I want to do, I guess. Man, this AI, let's actually not use Visual Studio Code, and I do have Visual Studio, and it is free. Visual Studio Community Edition, and I'm going to use that because I don't want the auto help or autofill feature always getting in the way. And you can have that in Visual Studio set up too, but I just don't have it set up there so that I can keep typing and learning instead of the AI doing my work. So, and should be the same program. And let's go to submenu. Let's see, let's make sure it is the same program I'm looking at. Yep. Alright, X, Q. So it's the same code I'm running, so it should be fine. So let's see. Let's go to our Pong game. Go to definition. Here's what I just did, and I'm setting that to that, and I'm going to copy that after. Oh, I want to do that before we change the position. So now that's the last x1, y position. So now it should clean up to itself. There we go. Alright, so X, Q, Q. Alright, I'm going to speed it up. I'm going to reduce the sleep value to 50 milliseconds. That'll make it faster. There we go. Let's see, I want to see if it bounces off the front. There we go. Alright, we do X. Press any key. Alright, press any key to exit. Alright, so now that we did that, I would like to make this a little bit nicer by introducing a class. I'll call it point. Oh, my point. Sometimes there's internal structures that already have the same name, so I just wanted to make sure. Now instead of integer, I'm gonna try to do float, and I'm gonna say X, Y. Now that Visual Studio does have autocomplete too, but it's not as aggressive as filling in all the information. It's like it's just the obvious stuff. But so here actually, I'll even create a constructor. So just so that you can just create it like that too, the beginning. So I will call this point start new 10 5, just to make it a little bit easier. So I'll do direction too, but I am going to change this later too, and then yeah, I'll do. Actually, we'll create another. So essentially a copy. Don't worry about all this syntax and everything. You learn as you go. There's lots of different ways to do the same thing, better ways, more efficient ways. But when you're learning, sometimes trying to be perfect in syntax and design patterns and all that nonsense just slows you down to the point that you will be always considered wrong from somebody's eyes. So instead of wasting your time, just get your ideas. It's like a drawing situation. You can always have different tools, different styles. But if you're learning how to draw, just start drawing. That's at least my way I look at it, and it always helps me. See, Visual Studio is not obnoxiously trying to fix everything here, which is good. So now I'm at least doing my own thing. So direction, X direction on Y. So I want last. Yeah. This was not necessary, but I just wanted to start doing it before I go too far. So I am going to cast it for now. Since I converted to a float and it expects it in int, I'm just going to go ahead and do that for now. But later on we'll do something else. But this one, let's make sure everything runs just the same way. Nothing different. Alright. Great. Now, the increment. Let's try, instead of 1, no, what am I doing? Let's call it float. Do 0.75. Is it? I think it needs a F behind it. Yeah, for floating point. So it's a little bit goofy looking, but nav. This is fine. Gain. It's just playing around. But you could do better things with this number. So if I wanted to actually do, let's do 1.5. It might crash because it might go off the screen too fast. So it feels a little bit faster. So the increment is 1.5. So alright. So actually I don't need to actually explicitly do that. Alright. So you got somewhat of a bouncing ball working. I'm gonna draw my pad on the bottom to hit the ball. Let's just draw a line. So actually I want position. Now that I have my point, I'll give it the point. P, and then int length. I will actually, what do I want to do? I want to write